All right. Would you like to run a better business and live a better life? I mean, who wouldn't, right? Hi, my name is Laura Beauperlant. I'm the founder of Lab Creative, the author of Brand Chemistry, and the creator of Brand Camp. And on my very last Live with Laura for 2022, I'm excited to be chatting with Jen Couldrey. Jen is an entrepreneur who helps create structures, discipline, and accountability for entrepreneurs so they can get what they want out of their business. She's a professional EOS implementer. I can't wait to dive into what that is. And she helps entrepreneurs implement the Entrepreneurial Operating System. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you so much for having me, Laura. I'm happy to be here with you today.
Me too. And I love systems. Now, a lot of people might not assume that with me being a creative person, and I've been talking about this for years, the importance of systems when it comes to your brand, right? And a lot of people didn't really understand that correlation between, well, how could a system help with your brand? And I often tell the story that one of my very first clients hired me because I was so much more established than the other companies they had interviewed. I had a portfolio, I had my pricing structure, I had a contract, I had all of the fine printy things sorted. And I thought, that's so interesting. Sure, they liked my design style, they liked other parts about my brand, but it was the fact that I seemed like I had my ship together.
Yeah.
that really was what won them over. So
Yes.
let's dive into systems. Let's make this fun for everybody.
I'm with you. I am a total systems geek. I love systems. And I agree with you in that I think most people think systems are limiting or it's red tape and it's going to hold you back. But really, systems are what set you free to be able to do great work because the basics are taken care of, right? All the things you just said, contracts, outlining key steps for clients. People want to see this. Yes, they're buying your design services, but that having those systems in place gives them faith that you know what you're doing. So I love to help my clients get their systems in place so that they can reassure their clients that they know what they're doing and have their internal processes figured out so the whole team is aligned around what you're going to deliver to your clients.
Yeah, then you're not reinventing the wheel with every client. And
Exactly.
everybody knows what they're doing and what they're responsible
Mhm.
for, right? So, and welcome to those of you that are joining us. If you have questions for Jen, pop them into the chat or into the comments wherever you're watching this, and we'll get to those questions. So, Jen, can you start by talking about what the Entrepreneurial Operating System is and just sort of
Yes.
walk us through that? That would be awesome.
So, EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System, is a complete system of simple tools that help you run your business better. So, we help clients to do three things that we call vision, traction, and healthy. So, vision means helping you and your leadership team to get 100% on the same page with where you're going and how you plan to get there. Traction means making sure that everyone in your business is executing with focus and discipline and accountability. So you're actually getting traction towards that vision every day. And healthy in terms of helping the entire leadership team to operate as a really cohesive, high functioning team that has fun together. And once we do that work with the leadership team, we then work to get that embedded throughout the whole organization. So everyone's aligned around the vision, everyone is executing to get traction, and everybody is operating as a really healthy team.
I love that. So is this like a once and done, or is this something that you work on or they work on? Like what are the touch points with this system that you're helping people set up?
Yeah, so EOS is accessible to most people through a book called Traction. It's this amazing book that walks through all the tools. So most people who use EOS simply read the book and start implementing it themselves. We believe in help first, so we give everything away for free. If you go to the EOS website, you can get templates for all the tools on there. We recommend starting with some of the core tools to get your team structure clear and to get some of the basics in place so you have visibility to what's happening in your business and alignment around your priorities. And when I work with clients, I work with them for typically 5 days a year to help them get these systems in place and then coach them as they work to bring them to life in their business.
But the ultimate goal is that they are doing this themselves. Like you help them set it up. Maybe you have those touch points with the year, but they have the systems
Exactly.
and what they need to do on a daily or weekly basis in
Yeah.
order to maintain these
So I
systems.
am a teacher, coach, and facilitator. So I teach the system and help you figure out how to use it well. I am not a consultant that's embedded in your business that's going to tell you what the right answer is. And our goal is always that our clients graduate and run this on their own. So it's a very it's sort of like hiring a personal trainer, right? You can hire a personal trainer to make sure that you have the right plan, to make sure that you know about your meal plan and what workouts you should be doing, but your trainer can't work out for you. So you still need to go get your workouts in. You still need to eat chicken and broccoli for lunch, but you have someone there who's holding you accountable and showing you the path so that all your efforts are getting you the results you want.
I love that. That's such a great analogy. Analogies always help people to understand. And that really, yeah, like the trainer can't work out for you. That is very true. So does this system work best for any size business or, because you could have solo entrepreneurs watching this up to,
Mhm.
people who have big teams. So is there an optimal size? I mean, I think everybody needs systems,
Mhm.
even if you are just a solo, I don't want to say just, even if you're a solo entrepreneur,
Yeah,
you're a team of one. You need to make sure you have those systems for
absolutely.
yourself and as you
Absolutely.
grow.
So EOS is designed for companies with between 10 and 250 employees, but as you said, the tools and principles work at any stage. So if you're a solopreneur, you can use these tools to help you. So it may just be you having the conversation with yourself, but you can still get aligned around these 8 questions that tell you, that make sure you're clear as to where you're going. So what is your 10-year target? What is your 3-year picture? What is your 1-year goals? What are your quarterly rocks? And then holding yourself accountable to actually living those things. So I used to run a charity that had 3 people working in it at the time, and it worked amazingly well for us to help us get aligned and to streamline and standardize the way we did everything in the business, to set me up as the leader to focus on more strategic growth opportunities while I knew that the day to day was being taken care of by some of the team. So it's definitely useful for companies at any stage.
So, and that's awesome because I totally agree that it doesn't matter what size you're at, knowing, it kind of gives you just that peace of mind.
Mhm.
And what I like about systems is that it creates a repeatable experience for people. So, if somebody recommends your business, that that the next person they refer is going to have the same experience.
Mhm.
Right? And the worst
Absolutely.
thing is you refer somebody and then somebody comes back and goes, "Why would you ever refer that
Mm.
company? This was not the experience you told me." And I
Yes.
think a lot of that comes down to a lack of systems.
Mhm. Mhm. So it's this beautiful quote by Isidore Sharp, who is the president of the Four Seasons, and he says, "Standardize the predictable so you can humanize the exceptional." And it's this idea of, if you're checking into a
Mm.
hotel, you want to make sure that once you walk in the door, somebody says hello to you, somebody greets you at the desk, somebody gives you a key to your room, right? You don't want people to be creative and adding their own pieces to the basics, right? You want to make sure the basics are taken care of so you can go above and beyond to deliver extra value and surprise and delight your customers while knowing that the basics are covered.
I love that. And you mentioned traction and you mentioned some of those, resources. So we'll make sure to post those into the links so that people can get access to those. We have a copy of Traction, but as you know, we're currently living in Italy and that book did not make the packing list. There was like very few things that, we could bring. So that
No.
one is definitely one I'm going to have to dive back into when I get
Yes.
back to Canada and back to wherever that book ended up in our storage. But so I was going to ask you about, how you have seen this impact. How have you seen systems or the EOS system in particular impact the businesses that you work with?
Hmm. So I think the first activity that we do with our clients is working on the accountability chart. So an accountability chart is like a typical org structure where you're mapping out the different roles in the organization, but it's focused on what people are accountable for. So we do that work to map out what is the right structure for the organization, and then adding in the piece of who are the right people to sit in those roles. And right away from day one, having those conversations, it usually becomes, sorry, not usually, it often becomes clear that there are people in your organization who are not fulfilling what you need them to do, right? So we talk about right people, right seats. So right people means people who share your core values and are a great culture fit. Right seats are people who are great at their job. And when we do the accountability chart exercise, people often realize this person is just not cutting it. They're just not able to deliver on the work, or this person is not aligned with our values. So I see those are the fastest changes I see people making, is deciding to start coaching people to either step up, or those people often end up selecting themselves out of the organization when the accountability starts being enforced and saying these are the expectations of you. So we see those changes happening. And then we also see shifts in hiring. So I've seen clients who are going through a hiring process and pause it with someone because going through that exercise, they realized they were not a good fit. So those changes make such a huge difference for businesses, right? When you don't waste months and months of time and thousands of dollars on people who aren't going to be a good fit. Or one of my clients recently, we had our quarterly session the other week, and they shared they had their best quarter in history while having lost people on their team, because the people who were left were able to just focus on getting the work done instead of having to spend time working with people who weren't delivering their work. So you see the fastest changes we tend to see are people changes, and then you tend to see the financials and time opening up following that.
Yeah, I can imagine it could be a bit scary though, at the thought of like, ooh, are my team members going to leave? I've trained these people. Like, we hear all the time about the cost of replacing people and how much time that takes. And that could be a scary venture. But I imagine that this work allows you to then find the right people for the right seat, probably a little bit quicker as well. Would you say?
Yes, absolutely. That's I think what so much of, you cannot achieve a great vision without great people, right? So if you don't have great people sitting around the table who are really great at their job, we joke that that is the fastest way to become an accidental nonprofit, right? Is by having people who you are paying to do work who aren't actually giving you the results you need. So yes, it is painful to lose people, and it is painful to have recruiting processes not get you people. But long run, it's actually going to hurt you more to have the wrong people sitting in the seats. So the faster you can realize that and make those changes and get great people there who can get you the results you need, that is what's going to set you free. We see one of the things I hear a lot from CEOs is, I just want to spend more time working on the business. I want to be more strategic, but I spend all my time firefighting. Well, a big root cause of that is often that you don't have the right people in the right seats who can fully take ownership over their roles. So you're stuck doing their job for them. So if you can get those people out and get people in who are nailing it, you are free to go do the things that are going to make the business grow.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to have to go back and just like listen to that little clip there. I think that's a beautiful thing you just shared, Jen, and your passion for this work absolutely comes through. And I think it's so true that you mentioned that freedom. And I think that's what a lot of people are searching for, is the freedom, or they feel like, I'm the bottleneck. How many times have you heard that phrase when you've been working with entrepreneurs?
Yes, I've heard it multiple times in the last week.
Just in the last week. Yeah, exactly.
That happens all the time. And so, I mean, you asked earlier what kind of results people get from implementing EOS. I mean, obviously the place we start is, what do you want from your business? And so for some people, it's about growth. For some people, it's about profitability. And for some people, it's about, I just don't want to spend 80 hours a week doing this anymore. And for some people, it's all three. So whatever your goal is, that is how we make decisions, right? That's how you decide what you're prioritizing and decide who you're hiring, is based on those long-term goals for yourself. What's important is to get clear about what those goals are, right? So many people don't really have clarity around their long-term vision. Or sometimes I talk to earlier stage startups and they say, oh, well, we're not ready for EOS because things change really fast. And I'm like, yes, that is true. You need to be able to react. But if you don't have that long-term North Star, how do you know if the changes and pivots you're making are in the right direction? So yes, especially when you're early stages, you need to leave room for flexibility and pivoting, but you still want to have those long-term goals so that you're on the same page and making decisions to get you there.
I love that. And I think that's in some way it's related to the work I do in branding is like I always say you have to build the foundation,
Yes.
right? You can always change the roof, the shingles, the paint color, the front door, the
Hmm.
windows, whatever. But if you don't have a solid structure,
Yes.
nothing is going to last, right?
Yes.
So even if you do pivot, you shift, you change, something happens without that foundation built first, it's
Hmm.
really hard to build something solid on top of it. And it sounds
Yes.
like the systems are similar. If you've got the systems, and we've got systems in place, and we still have to go through every once in a while and go, oh, we've changed
Yes.
that. That's
Yes.
not working. We need to shift this. How can we? So you're always, I say your brand is a living, breathing thing. And I
Yes.
think your systems need to be as well. Would you agree?
100%. So we talk about this concept of hitting the ceiling and that it is inevitable that you will hit the ceiling in your business. And we talk about this is the way children grow, right? You don't grow at a steady state. You go through periods of evolution and then revolution. So you hit this ceiling and you just can't grow past that. And for some reason you're stuck and your team is stuck and you're frustrated and your profits won't grow and you just don't know why. And so we talk about this need to be really deliberate about breaking through that ceiling so that you can get to the next level. And as I was actually just meeting with a new client this morning, and they were sharing that we've hit the ceiling in our business, and the visionary, the leader of the business, he's like, I'm the bottleneck, right? Like we can't go any further until we get it all out of my head and into systems and processes and people who can run the business so I can be free to go grow our business in exciting new directions while making sure that foundation is there so the business itself runs smoothly.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, moving to Italy and being here, being, hours apart from my team and in another country and traveling a lot more, being less available and wanting to actually work less while I'm here so I can
Mhm.
have these experiences with my family, I couldn't do it without systems.
Yep.
There have been weeks that I have been highly unavailable and things were being taken care of
Yeah.
because we had the systems.
Yes.
And I knew that I felt at ease because I knew that my team had what they needed. And I
Hmm.
was not that far. Like if they needed me, they could reach me. But because of what we had set up previously, there wasn't as many questions. They could
Right.
answer things themselves
Hmm.
without needing to come to me. And that's when you really start to remove the bottleneck.
Yeah, absolutely. So part of what we do with the EOS tools is to help leaders figure out how they can let go while still having enough visibility into what's happening in the business so they're comfortable with it, right? So one of the exercises we go
Yeah.
through is we say, if you're sitting on a beach with a pina colada in your hand and someone's going to give you a piece of paper with some numbers on it, what numbers do you need to see to know if the business is going well? And that's how we end up creating a scorecard so that as a leader, we also use the analogy of they're the what do you call them, bumpers on the side of the road, rumble strips.
Oh,
So
yeah.
as long as your car is within the rumble strips, you're fine. You don't need to know all the details on your dashboard. But as soon as you go outside those rumble strips, that's when you're like, okay, high alert, change something, something's not going right. So that's what we try to give entrepreneurs through these tools is let's set up the rumble strips so you don't have to pay attention to the driving, but you are alerted when the car is going off the road and you need to step in and do something.
I love that. And I guess that goes with the traction, right? Like it's, I love
Exactly.
the driving analogies. So if you were to, give entrepreneurs, I think there's been so many amazing gems you shared. But what would be like if they're like, oh my gosh, my systems are a mess. I don't have any of these things and they feel overwhelmed
Hmm.
and maybe a little nauseous at the thought of even just starting this journey.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want them to know how to reach out to you, but what
Hmm.
would be some tips? Like, where would you tell them to start?
Yeah. So the book Traction is an amazing book. It's really a how-to guide for how to think about your business in this holistic way, and we teach all the tools in that book. So if all of this is sounding like what you need in your business, I would definitely recommend reading Traction. If you're looking to get started around getting clarity and alignment on your direction for your business, I would suggest we have a tool called the Vision Traction Organizer. And if you go to EOS Worldwide, if you just Google EOS free tools, you'll find we give away the toolbox set for free, and you can find the Vision Traction Organizer, the VTO, in there, and just answering those 8 simple questions will make sure that you are fully aligned around where you're going. So that's a really good place those are my 2 tips in terms of places to start.
And that sounds like a great sort of end of the year, as you're like thinking about heading into 2023.
Yes.
What a better place than to, look back at this year and like what worked, what didn't, and kind of do a bit of an analysis on that. But also, look at this this worksheet and answer those questions so you can really think about where you want to go and what kind of changes you can make in 2023.
And what I love about EOS is that obviously EOS is a business system. It is designed to help your business, but these same principles apply to your personal life. So we describe the EOS life as doing work you love with people you love, being compensated appropriately, with time for other passions. I missed one. Anyways, it's a beautiful concept that applies to everybody. And we have a family VTO as well, or a personal VTO. So yes, do this work for your business, but also reflect on your family and what your goals are and what your priorities are for the year. So both of those are available for free on our website.
Oh, I'm definitely going to check that one out too for the family. We were just today working with the kids on sort of a year in review.
Yes.
And then some planning, like what are your goals for, 2023,
Yes.
and really starting to be intentional, even with them at like 11 and 15. And we've done this many times over the years with them. It's like, what do you want out of the next year? What do you want to get good at? What do you want to accomplish? And then plan out. And now I think often, and I've been totally guilty of this, where you set these intentions and then you never look at them.
Yes. Yes.
And so I'm like, we need to have like a monthly meeting, like family meeting, or like quarterly planning sessions. Okay. Are we aligned with have we achieved these things? I'm like almost running it like a business. And I heard somebody mention that they kind of run their family like a business, where they have those meetings, family, like team meetings as a family. And I think that's a great idea.
I agree. And I think time is our most precious resource. We all know this, and the time is going to pass either way. And you're going to be busy either way, because life is busy. And you're either going to spend your time with stuff that fills it, or you're going to be really intentional about how you spend your time and do things like move your family to Italy, because that was a goal for you, but it took dedication and time and effort to make that happen. And it doesn't happen unless you're really intentional about defining your goals and then making progress towards it. And to your point, checking in every week, every quarter, to make sure you're still aligned with achieving those goals.
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody's got any questions, we've got Jen here for a couple more minutes. I see there's a few of you with us. Ask away. Jen, how can people reach you? How can they work with you? What's the best way for people to connect?
Great question. So, I would say I'm most active on LinkedIn is the social media platform that I use the most. So feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. Otherwise, if you Google Jen Couldrey EOS, you'll find my site. And as I said, one of our core values is help first. And so I'm an EOS nerd, so I love to talk about this stuff with anyone who is interested in using this in their business. And something that I will offer is that I love to run EOS workshops. So to teach people the tools, we jokingly call this the EOS workshop is the movie version of the book. So I am happy to spend 90 minutes with your team teaching them the EOS tools so that you can use them in your business. So please feel free to reach out if you are interested in diving in to learn more about the tools and how you can use them in your business.
Amazing. I love that. Thank you so much, Jen, for being here. This has been such a great conversation. What a great way to kind of wrap up 2022. I feel like just having this conversation around systems to get people thinking about it. Maybe if you've got some time over the holidays and you're like, you know what, I really need to start thinking about this. Pick up the book Traction, download those worksheets that Jen recommended, and start doing some of that work for yourself so that you can really create a business that aligns with your vision.
Yes.
And then make sure that you have people working with you that live that vision with you and can help you achieve it, right? And I
Yes.
think that's the beauty in what you said right at the beginning. This helps you, attract the right people to the right seat in your business.
So one of our mottos is that you are not destined to live a life of unfulfilled dreams. So you're going to work hard no matter what, but just make sure that you do the work to put in place the systems and the tools and the vision and the accountability so you actually can realize all of your dreams. We're all working so hard, especially entrepreneurs, pour so much of themselves and make so many sacrifices of their time and their family time and their money in this, and just make sure you're getting what you want from your business.
I love it. What a beautiful way to end this interview. Thank you so much, Jen. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And happy holidays. And we'll see everybody in the new year.
Thank you so much for having me, Laura.
You're welcome.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Bye, everybody.